It is looking dire for Dire's top tower. Radiant's middle tower is about to become Radiant's demolished tower. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower needs some attention. I hope Radiant enjoyed that bottom tower while it lasted. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire fortified their structures. I wonder how they do with tents. Dire's top tower is about to tumble. Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower can't take much more of this.
Next time.
Pro.
Gotcha.
Got it.
It's now or never for Dire's middle tower. Dire's middle tower could fall soon. It's now or never for Dire's middle tower. Radiant's courier has been killed. Dire's bottom tower is in danger. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. It is looking dire for Dire's top tower. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is about to tumble. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is now just a stupid, bitter memory. From destroying Radiant's bottom tower. Radiant's bottom tower. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. It would appear Dire have fortified their structure. Dire's middle tower could fall soon. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks have fallen. Dire's middle barracks have fallen.
This one feels pretty good.
Pull roots and run.
Bounty. Bounty.
Radiant's middle tower can't take much more of this. Radiant's middle tower isn't so radiant anymore. Dire's courier just got killed. It's like that job is dangerous. Has fallen to the Dire. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. It's now or never for Dire's middle tower.
Gotcha.
The seeds of fortune.
Can't someone stop them from destroying Radiant's bottom tower? Looks like Radiant structures are now fortified. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant is giving a shining example of fortified bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom barracks have fallen. Radiant's top tower, Radiant's bottom barracks have fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Time for me to soar amongst your foes. Come, come.
Radiant's top tower could literally use a hero right now. Radiant's middle tower may be gone, but no, it's just bad news.
Stonefall. Come.
Killing spree!
Feed the trees.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Uproot you. Come to me. Warriors of the wood. Double
Radiant's top tower is under attack. He'll be back after a brief intermission.
Pull roots and run!
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
With me! Uproot and after them!
Radiant's middle tower can't take much more of this. Radiant have fortified their structures. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower isn't so radiant anymore.
Invisibility.
One stone, got two birds in mind.
Dire's middle tower could fall soon. Dire's middle tower just had its finest Dire have fortified their structures, just so
Game one, Yandex take game one against Team Liquid.
That's the magic of TI. That's why we show up. That's what we look forward to every single year. Essentially, Insania, what felt like a base race when the odds were so heavily stacked for Liquid's favor. I don't even know where Yandex ended up pulling this win from.
I mean, it's incredible. I thought when the Wisp died without buyback, when they did their like counter aggression to push forward, like that was it. I thought Liquid had the game. But then they do this incredible base hold and like Watson, like we talked about Largo and like Wisp and how they're like this unkillable fortress and that's gonna be the focal point of the game. Watson said, nah, I'm the star of this show, you know? And I feel like this game was like crazy carry battle. I feel like Mika shined really brightly on Tiny and he was having so many moments where he's finding all these moves. All of Liquid's plays kind of flowed through him. And on the other side, Watson is like responding to it with his Wind Ranger.
Yeah. That was one of the most impactful carry performances I've seen at main stage, and we've had some absurd performances today already. I mean, Watson, he was the king of this game. He was the story. He was the carry from his laning stage to his smoke movements to playing aggressively while his eye was farming to clutching at the very end. I mean, there were moments where it looked so close, but these double shackles during the base defenses were so ridiculous. It felt like when it looked so dire and so desperate for Yandex, the shackles came through.
My goodness, I get chills just re-watching it, let alone watching it the first time. It's actually unbelievable. This fight, there's a little detail where IO skills the super fast relocate talent at 25, and right as the Dawnbreaker ult is coming in, he whips him out, and then it happens again on the pull out to like the second Dawnbreaker ult or some other stun. This was bonkers. I mean, you mentioned Mike. I don't know what it feels like to lose a game like this because he played immaculately. It was actually an unbelievable game. Mayor talks about Watson. I think this very much was two carries, both popping off like crazy, and I fully agree. I think the IO Largo was whatever the heck. Like, you didn't even see it in this game. What you saw was Mika and Watson going ham squeezy because I think a lot of other people felt the pressure like crazy and they thrived.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we talked about like, can Chira Jr. play Wisp? And I feel like something that Mata used to say is like, if you play mid, no matter what hero you play, you have to find pressure. You have to find a way to make your hero's impact felt in the early stages of the game. And I think Chira didn't really show that.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see that like Watson then goes like, all good. You know, you just hit the creeps, I will do it for you.
One of the first mega creep comebacks that we're having at TI as well. We were having this conversation of why aren't we seeing it that often, and more often than not, it feels like the heroes aren't enabling it, but you get someone that can target objectives like Wind Ranger, someone who can push waves out like their supports can, and you get a recipe for a banger game number one here. The carry to carry matchup, everything about it was so intense, but at the end of the day, you also have to wonder, this Nature's Prophet for Nisha a couple of times, having a few question marks about his positioning. They get 3 Roches, and yet these Aegises don't have impacts the way you see other games and other Aegises have.
Yeah, I mean, while it was unfortunate, I do think sometimes some players do need to
heroes throughout the group stage. He picks Io. You're now up to number 12. Can you play Io mid? Well, it didn't really matter at the end of the day in Insania because he was able to play it in a different way than what you would expect a core Io to do. And that's what really matters as well. Leaving space for those that need it and for another avenue of a win.
Absolutely. I think like Watson shines. He's the star of the show, but there's a strategy here that's set up like all these picks. Watson gets to pick his Wind Ranger in the absolute last position of the game. He sees every single hero, and somebody has to tank it. You know, somebody has to play the hero he's not comfortable on. And in this situation, CJ took that role upon himself and decided to, you know, let Watson do it and make the strategy be the thing that Liquid answers, so Watson has a free game.
Yeah, that's an amazing point, genuinely. And I think it happens a lot in these matches where there is something like that, there's a hero that this is an amazing hero. Can you play this? And there's a lot of pressure in that question because he's being asked, he's probably not as comfortable on it as Watson is. They practice it on carry, and he's like, can you play this? And he says, yes, I can. And you're not expected to carry the game because he's silver tier on IO. He's not an IO player. This is probably his first IO official ever. And so the onus is not on him. And so I think being able to be like, this is stressful, this is new, this is a hard experience for me. I am in an uncomfortable position, and trusting your teammates and your teammates trusting you, there's a lot there.
Yeah. I think that's why he deserves the recognition.
Okay.
Yeah, it does feel like we were watching CJ level up his IO gameplay in real time because the way that he was playing IO and using his wisps at the start and maybe not pulling the lane like you mentioned earlier on IO, that there are ways to increase your GPM in the early game. That wasn't happening, but as that game went on and on, those relocates at the very end where he saved Watson's Wind Ranger were very clutch. And I can see this being a hero that gives Yandex that injection of confidence where if they can pick it, flex it to carry and mid, and win games like this, we're going to see more of it, even if CJ isn't the most comfortable on this hero.
We were briefly seeing as well our carry-to-carry matchup, looking at all the stats. And more often than not, I saw those numbers. They were a little bit of a discrepancy, but not enough where it felt like one was outplaying the other until you go down the list and you start to see hero damage. There was a 20K difference. Here it is. 48,000 to 63,000. So almost a 20K difference in hero damage. And that's a lot to be said because the Largo's letting him live. The IO's letting him live longer. And say what you will about it.
Okay. Hold up. I gotta say. No. I feel like they had very different roles in this game.
Yeah.
Like, Mick is going in first. Literally every single move that Liquid did was off the back of Mick finding a good jump. And for like the vast majority of the game, he was doing that. So while, yes, Watson's hero damage is very impressive, they had slightly different roles in the games, and they have different avenues towards carrying it. So I don't think it's fully representative of how well Mickey also played.
Would you rather us compare Watson and Nisha? Is that more? Did they have more similar roles than in the game?
I mean, maybe to some extent, yes.
Okay.
But I think more so I just want to make sure that we don't... let's
There's different narratives.
Yeah,
Their paths diverged when we picked up the heroes, even though they're both carries. All right, I respect that immensely.
Yeah, I think it's honestly hard to give Mickey enough praise in this game because I think he massively overperformed, and I think this is what you expect from him and Nisha and this Liquid team when you're coming into a game when you expect less pressure on them, and I think you saw that throughout the majority of the series that I think the game rather, that they looked less pressured. It looked like they were playing a little more comfortably. Yandex was a little shakier. I could feel the tension in the game, the mistakes from both teams, but I think at the end of the day, it wasn't a game where Liquid was as confident as I expected them to be. I think both teams were making a buttload of mistakes, and I expected Liquid to make less, whereas I feel like by the end of the game, it was actually kind of comparable how the number of mistakes made.
It did feel like there was a lot of back and forth and adjusting in real time and maybe doing too much sometimes on the side of Liquid, like trying to push a tower when you don't need to, maybe going in on an Enchantress because Wind Ranger is dead and suddenly Enchantress survives and the tides are turned. Like, Liquid could have chosen to take it a little bit more slowly, but as these things are happening, I'm sure that they are going into this game too with the knowledge that that could have been their game, and I hope that they can shake it off.
I mean, I think if you're Liquid, you think we win this game 8 times out of 10. Like, I think like 90% of the game you feel like it went well, and you probably are going to be, I think the main point that you're going to talk about is the first Aegis when Niche TP'd on the mid tower, and he kind of dies, and then they all come in to try to like save the situation, and then they all die. I think that's like the main talking point after the game, where you're just like, if we just use the first Aegis better, this game is easy.
Yeah. I mean, even before that, we're talking about how Yandex want to build an unstoppable wall for themselves, and it felt like they were pushing into Liquid side of the map, and it was ever increasingly more difficult for Liquid to find any space for themselves. But even in this fight, there's still silver linings for Liquid. There's still great early game for them.
Yeah, and Mickey is going to come turn this fight. He's like, I got you guys. Is Watson overperforming? Is he coming? Smoked mid? Is he putting his team on his back? I can do it too. And I think this kind of game is so cool to watch because while there were were a lot of mistakes being made. There were a lot of very confident skirmishes being taken that I think a lot of teams wouldn't have even had the balls to do on the main stage. They'd have taken it a lot slower, and that's not what we saw today. And something that I want to praise Liquid for, despite them losing, is that they changed up their game plan. In the first 25 minutes of the game, it felt like they were constantly jumping on Io and prioritizing him. And then at some point, they realized that he didn't matter so much as Watson did. And then every jump afterwards became on the Wind Ranger, and the game looked easier for them after that.
How do you make that call? How do you know that IO is no longer an issue? Because so many times, if you were to come across an IO in your pub, you want to burst him, right? He's the one that's healing up, most notably normally played in support as well, but he's the one that's healing up a core that's doing a lot of damage. So at what point are you making that decision, and what leads into making that choice that you don't have to prioritize him?
I think a lot of it is sort of actually looking at how the fights are breaking down and having this really deep understanding of how timings and things like this work. You could hear Boxy's comms in the middle of the game saying that we have enough damage to this guy. He has heart, but we need to kill one hero at a time. And I think the concept of killing one hero at a time is really important. It's something that a lot of teams value very highly. You only have so much damage, especially when you're playing against a lot of healing. You need to focus one guy and make sure he dies, and then you can go to the next guy. And so there's a lot of synergy and looking at your teammates, saying, who are we going to kill? And you see opportunities and you take those opportunities. And so it's sort of a, like, noticing what your other teammates are doing, having this sort of vision, this peripheral vision almost for how are things playing out, and not being too tunnel visioned on one thing, having a little bit more of an open mind in terms of the fights.
Yeah, I think it's just understanding the difference between, like, in concept, when you play against Wisp, you should always kill the Wisp first.
Right.
Still a concept. But when you're really, really good at the game, you're able to recognize that we have enough damage to kill the Wind Ranger, and in essence, the Wind Ranger is the only thing killing us. So once the Wind Ranger piece is removed from the game, they all have to run. They have to scatter. We saw it a couple of times where, like, Wind Ranger died first, and all of them are just like, BKB, TP, run, like, try to get out any way we can. And I think Liquid seeing that and understanding that is just a higher, like, very big representation of their skill.
Yeah, and knowing just how close that game number one was between them, walking back on stage for both Liquid and Yandex for game 2 in this best of 3 has a whole new meaning. Yandex were able to pull out something in the mid lane Liquid weren't necessarily ready for. It was a fantastic last pick by the side of Yandex, and whilst Liquid were almost able to get it over the line, unfortunately it doesn't for them. But that just means I think they're going to have to bring out more from the back pocket. There's going to be a little extra motivation, because instead you've been in this position before. You've been with these players, with Will as well, Blitz as the coach. So it's like, I can only imagine the motivation is even higher after losing a game 1.
I mean, I think it's always an interesting position that you're put in, because I think usually when you lose a game, you look at the draft and you're like, what could we have done better? But I think if you're Liquid, after this game, the conclusion is that our draft was good. And I'm really curious to see if they decide to play against the Wisp again.
Yeah.
Because I think the Wisp didn't look comfortable. While they managed to pull it off, I would say it didn't look comfortable, and I think if Liquid get the same draft again, the same situation, they will win.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And I think it's honestly the biggest story going into the next draft is, do you call the IO's bluff? I think...
And let it through is what you're implying?
No, I totally agree, because I think that's a classic in these best of 3s. If they try a new hero, they have a new strat, and you lose to it, do you respect ban that? Well, the issue with that is that throws off your other bans. So it may be easy to see game 1 and say, well, just ban the IO. It was obvious it was OP. Well, now you're leaving something else in that you didn't prepare for 24, 36, 48 hours beforehand, and that can throw another wrench in the wheels. And so maybe you're like, okay, we believe our prep. This game was good, like Aiden said. We should have won this game in the same position. We would win. We trust ourselves. We trust our prep. We're going to run it back. I think that is the confident and the move that asserts aura, and going back and banning it, to me, is like, that wasn't the problem, and you've sort of come to the wrong conclusions after losing that game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that game, if you're Liquid after that, you have to identify that the Wind Ranger was the issue. And while the IO did throw a wrench, I think the bigger wrench was flexing it to the mid lane, because I do believe that Liquid came into the series prepared for the potential carry IO from Watson, and having that switch up at the very end is where they were caught off guard. So if anything, I don't think we're going to be seeing these 24 Wind Rangers come out if the IO is let through.
No, I fully agree.
Yeah, I'm curious, do you think it's harder to recover from a game like this compared to a game that you just get smacked down, or a game that you lose in the mid game? Like one that you're right there on the cusp and you lose it, do you feel like that hurts more or makes it harder to win the next one?
I think this kind of game, in my mind at least, it's good, because it shows you that we had every chance to win, and that we don't have that many problems to fix. Like when we played you guys in the finals a lot, it sometimes felt like there's 27 different issues, we'll try to address one, and then like when you fix this issue, there's another issue popping up over here.
Now you're up to 30 issues.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh no, this was a bad fix, and we don't know what to do here. Whereas I feel like they can feel confident that their draft works. I don't think there's any player in that booth right now that's thinking like, oh no, our drafts aren't working. We need to change everything. So I think this kind of loss in that way is easier to handle. I think if you're an inexperienced team, it might be tougher that you got beat with your best stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not having been put in that position, I can't comment from firsthand experience, but just based off
You've seen enough pro players crumble and stand the test of it, though.
Yeah, I've seen enough Dota, and I think in games where you come back from mega creeps, you're still really under pressure. Just like looking at the players from Yandex, they all seem really stressed out, especially DM and Soxa and CJ. They don't look happy. They don't look like, oh, that was awesome, guys. We're going to win game 2. Because when your carry overperforms like that, you also want to be able to rise to the occasion. You shouldn't only win Dota if your carry is putting on a generational performance, because it was a quiet game coming out of Largo, and it was a quiet game coming out of CJ.
Well, a game #1 draft with a lot of twists and turns. There was that IO that ended up being changed to the mid lane there. A Wind Ranger overall final pick for the side of Yandex was phenomenal impact. And whilst Liquid were happy with their drafts, everything that they could do, a call to try and end wasn't enough. But a game 2 is a reset. It isn't the end all or be end here. So we'll see how our draft for game 2 plays out.
Team Liquid versus
Bicara meillä tein clearance tai kiu.
Game 2.
Tai?
To overcorrect or not is the question that you put towards Liquid. Is the IO enough of a nuisance, enough of an anomaly to enter that first phase ban territory? Or you go, fair play, Yandex, you've had your fun, but this time around, it's not going to play out the same way. We're going to have the overall last pick, and we're going to be seeing Yandex open up the draft and potentially reveal what they're willing to let Liquid have as a counter pick.
Yeah, this will definitely change things. Considering if Yandex wants the first pick, the Earth Spirit, then maybe they don't get the IO. I can get second phase banned. Liquid.
Team Yandex's turn to ban.
The first phase is totally different. Maybe Yandex just passes on the IO and says, we don't really want it for first pick. It's a second pick thing for us.
Yeah. And just to talk about something that we didn't mention yet, I do wonder about the decision that CJ had on his IO to never tether the Largo. Like, something was going on where it was the Wind Ranger every single fight with the tether, and they didn't take advantage of that heal amplification. And while it worked very well in that clutch team fight where he reloaded him out, it felt like a mistake.
Yeah, I think that's just his inexperience on the hero. It's not understanding the concept of the draft necessarily. It's just like, I'll play it, guys. Like, this Wind Ranger...
Here. I'm going to tether the guy that heals. You just forget, because you're thinking about how to press your buttons, and you die, and now you're like kind of clammy and you're nervous. These things mount up, and you lose focus, and you lose sight of simple things. And so I've had it happen to me before plenty of times. It's very human, and I think also it being a game 1, you can write off some of this stuff a little bit, saying, okay, game 1 is game 1, but now, okay, you've had a little bit to get used to that, to acclimate to the crowd, to the TI vibe and experience. You've got to bring a little bit more in game 2.
So I think this is super interesting. They decided to ban Earth Spirit on their own first pick. And then Liquid took a bunch of time to consider whether they're banning the Wisp. I'm sure that was a conversation that was just had. Because I think banning the Earth Spirit like this is essentially saying, we're not going to first pick Earth Spirit, we're going to first pick Wisp if we get the opportunity. Okay, never mind.
Just kidding, it's a bounty hunter.
Or a bounty hunter.
Or a bounty hunter.
Very similar heroes.
Very similar heroes.
To be fair, this was a hero in group stages Yandex could do so much on, right? Soxa was leading the charge. The way he plays a bounty hunter, we've seen it before. It's always a nuance of a hero that you just hate coming up against as well. It just is the pain or thorn in the side, right? That's how painful it is to come up against. But I feel like there's a whole nother level when Yandex get their hands on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a very Soxa hero. We talk about Soxa being someone who plays the map, who sneaks around, who sets up kills. Well, what better hero to do that than a guy who's planting wards deep, who's invisible, setting up on kills? I think it's a great point, and I think this hero very much fits Soxa and is good for Yandex in that Soxa is going to be able to make the plays, make stuff happen, and let other people connect, and that's a weird response.
Yeah, traditionally when you play against Bounty Hunter, you want a hero that can kind of follow him around and like stop him from having a free reign. And Wyvern traditionally is more of a hero that likes to sit in his lane, just play the 2v2 out, and kind of win the game that way. So in essence, Liquid are just not responding to the bounty. They're saying like, we're going to build our own strategy. We don't care about what you're doing. We're going to build our own thing here. And yeah, to extend on what you said, I absolutely agree. I think Soxa is the main shot caller, and Bounty Hunter is one of those heroes that you get to plan ahead. You get to run into places that you normally wouldn't be able to run to because you're invisible, put a deep ward, and then you can have the conversation about when somebody shows here, we're going to smoke to it, or we're going to make this move. And I think that really enables him to be like the leadership voice that they need.
I do think an aspect of it as well, outside of what you mentioned, is that DM's hero pool functions very well with Bounty Hunter. And the one hero in particular that I want to talk about is Darkseer. With Clockwork being nerfed and Support Earth Spirit not being as popular, now that it's mainly a mid and it's just not really a Soxa hero either, this is kind of the hero that you would want to pair with the Darkseer and do a lot of the moves that we saw with the Earth Spirit 4 at EWC, for example, like getting that Ion Shot level 3, TPing mid. And once you have DM on a hero like Darkseer, you're always going to be comfortable on Yandex because you know that regardless of how the game goes, you're going to have that ability to take that one teamfight initiation with Vakwall and potentially change things.
It's definitely a hero that fits DM extremely well. I also think Liquid is one of the best anti-Darkseer teams because Mickey likes to play these Expends, these Tinies. He has really good hero answers to Darkseer, which I think he would gladly pick into it. So it's interesting to see if they dare to go for it, even against Liquid.
Yeah, it's definitely an important dynamic in this draft, and I think Liquid is considering it, and so is Yandex, because Darkseer is also great against Wyvern. You've got magic damage through the shield, and also Wyvern likes sort of a controlled, calm fight in that she gets to sit in the back and wait and look. I'm going to press heal on this guy, curse on that guy, and I get to press my spells in a nice manner. And Bounty Hunter's tracking you, he's seeing you, and causing some shenanigans there, and then suddenly Darkseer's there, he vacuums you in, breaks your positioning. Like these types of heroes, things like those, or Puck, or Storm, stuff that makes Wyvern's fight awkward and uncomfortable, that's not what he wants. He wants to sit back in the fortress.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it is just Dota coming full circle, where like we've had supports buying first item Essence Distiller for like 5 months now, and then someone remembered, hey, Bounty Hunter gets it for free at level 6. I don't need to buy an Essence Distiller.
He also works really well with Essence Distiller, because you can like put it somewhere where you don't see any heroes, and then they walk into it, and then you get the track for free. So it actually has kind of cool synergies with the item too.
There was only one ban that Liquid had for themselves in the second phase, and so we're questioning, well, what is a combo or something that the Bounty Hunter can set up strongly that they want to take out? Their answer is Necro and an instant pick of a Clockwork to open their phase.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because it's 2 supports, which is not something we super typically see. It is range plus melee, which is nice. Clock goes in for you, so Wyvern has a little bit more space to cast the spells, but it does mean that you have to pick 2 cores back to back, and it can be awkward to find synergies between cores because they're not laning with each other, and that is oftentimes the kind of synergies you pick together, is heroes that actually work together in the early game, and cores don't often do that.
There's the Wisp. No, I agree. I also think we touched on it in the pregame, how like what Liquid's been managing to do way better during TI compared to other events this year is they've managed to enable Ace, and that's mainly been through Boxy playing ranged heroes. And in both of these games now, they've kind of fallen back into like a little bit of old concepts. I think even in the previous game, Ace's game wasn't that good. He was not top of the network the way he wants to be. So, okay. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I got confused.
You thought that was something getting picked up for the side of Liquid?
I was like, what is happening? But no, okay, this makes way more sense.
You haven't heard of Clockwork Offlane?
I don't want to hear about
Not right now.
I do not want to hear about Clockwork Offlane.
I understand the Hoodwink run back for Yandex because we talked a lot about the carry performance, but Malady also had a really good early game. Like, he was able to kind of make moves, hide in trees, kill after the Tormentor. Like, he had the confidence that we didn't see from him in a lot of the group stage games in that game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And now they've got potential flex on the IO again. So that's one of the problems whenever, like one of the problems presented when a team picks two supports first on second pick is you have to show your core first. Well, they show a flex, so they didn't really show the core first. So now Liquid gets 0 lane counter picks on these 2 picks here, which means potentially on the last pick of this upcoming phase is they can get a hero that's really good against you in either lane or in game, and there's some danger there.
And Liquid have to be tempted to pick Darkseer with their Clockwork and their Ember now to take it away from Yandex. That makes it so that what you mentioned, Aiden, about the ranged hero synergy between Ace and Boxy, it enables this hero and gives him a lane.
Yep, also they've banned out Dawnbreaker and Underlord, and when I think of Ace during this tournament, those are like the first 2 heroes that pop up in my mind.
No.
I think for Ace, I think this is quite an uncomfortable position, right? Like, he doesn't have his ranged boy, his 2 favorite boys to play are banned out, and like you said, there's the Darkseer, right? Like, do you go for it? Is it something he's comfortable playing? It has good synergies with the heroes.
The time is ticking down, though. Like, I think it's a great point. I think he hates this position. He hates playing double melees. He doesn't like dragging waves or getting loose in the lane. This is the Darkseer. But this hero is also not that strong in lane. You have to pull waves. You're also saying Io gets a full free lane because you can never like trap this guy in cogs. He's super fast. If Darkseer tries to run you just run away. And so you've contested that, okay, the Io gets a free lane if you want. Now the enemy can, Yandex can counterpick the Ember Spirit mid. They can pick an offlane hero here. There's no, this pick doesn't present pressure per se. It just has nice synergy with Liquid heroes. Going back to your point of Liquid just, we're going to pick our heroes and we don't really care so much what you're picking.
Yep.
I do think Yandex put Liquid in the position where if they didn't take Darkseer, they would have picked it themselves as well for DM, like we mentioned. And this makes it so that this IO is a carry, by the way, and this is mid Slark. I just want to say, this is mid Slark versus Ember.
Calling it now, everyone.
And this is mid Slark versus Ember, and this is IO carry versus Darkseer because he's not at all bothered by this lane. And I would be surprised if we didn't see it happen this way.
I find this kind of funny because we were in the green room during some other game, and I was like, Huskar's kind of weak this patch. Like, what's up the Ember cheese? How do you cheese Ember? Because Ember always gets cheesed. And Quinn goes, it's Slark mid. I'm like,
and Unison Ember's like, Slark.
Nah, bro.
Well, one person who has played that matchup before is CJ. In the groups, he played Slark. He got a win with it too. So it isn't this, oh, I'm going to try and have this flavor of TI, show the creativity. It worked. So now we're having 2 fantastic mids come out from CJ where he's really showing up on a main stage.
It was versus Ember as well that he played the mid Slark, so he knows that it works. And this is when I like Yandex, how they draft around CJ, is if they pick him counterpick heroes, not just like randomly putting in a hero that'll be good for the game. No, they give him something to dumpster the enemy mid laner.
Yeah, the Slark against the Ember is absolutely amazing. I think the one wrinkle here is Mickey is a very confident Ember Spirit player, and so there is a world where they put the Ember Spirit safe lane and they pick the mid to either force the IO to go mid or to dumpster Slark. Slark against Ember is awesome. It's a great mid, it functions super naturally and well. But Slark with a losing lane for mid is about the most worthless hero you could ever find. And so I think you have to consider that, and it's definitely something you need to keep in mind.
How is Slug able to take advantage of Ember in the ways that we're not seeing other heroes be able to do in this patch?
A big part of it is he can just man-fight you in the shield. You're not trying to break the shield. You steal your third spell, which steals regen and movement speed, and you just hit the guy. He presses the shield, and you say, I don't care. And you keep hitting him, you steal his damage, and the trade gets worse and worse for him over time. Whereas traditionally, Ember, the trade gets better and better as the flame guard damage stacks up. It's very efficient damage for mana. So he kind of breaks Ember's like main dynamic, which is abusing flame guard, and it only gets worse.
I think the Mickey Ember Spirit point is very, very interesting because I think it is something that they're capable of doing. But what would you say the answer to Slark mid is for niche?
Any ranged hero that just hits him in the head. Like, it's a hero that has no nukes.
Yeah.
Right? He's all about, I'm going to hit you. And so if you're just a ranged hero, then Slark can actually never do any damage to you. He can't actually hurt your hero in any way. And so I think any ranged hero that just hits the guy, I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, but like something like even like a Nature's Prophet, which is banned, but some guy that just bonk, 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 bonk.
Ideally, you want to be Lina, Nature's Prophet, or like some Necro, right? But they're all banned out.
Exactly.
What's the downside to maybe swapping it and having a Slark carry and a IO mid? Is Slark Darkseer just not really a lane that feels comfortable for the Slark?
If it were a Slark carry, it would be a response to Liquid's last pick if they thought that it wouldn't be comfortable on whatever happens. And to me, it looks pretty comfy. I mean, CD should play it. He should double down on this.
Okay, so you're saying we still want to see that
Yeah.
Slark mid. Well, you're going to get what you wish for there. It is a Slark mid and an IO carry.
They haven't picked yet.
You can tell they're talking about it in the booth.
Yep, there it is. It's the Ember safe lane.
It's the Mickey Ember, yeah.
Okay, so this mid lane sucks. It fits the exact archetype. Winner's just going to hit him in the head a bunch of times. But this Tidehunter now has a very free game. He's playing against Wyvern and Ember. He's going to press Anchor Smash, and he's not going to take any damage. I feel like that is troublesome because having Tidehunter with a really good game is one of the best heroes to have with a really good game.
And a big part of Tidehunter having a good game will change the way that Yandex play this, because now is freed up. If Tide does not need help, this Bounty Hunter is going to be mid. He's going to be helping CJ Slark. He's going to be rotating. He's going to be making moves happen, and Sox is just happy with this.
I think the biggest thing for this game, though, is in the last game, I think Liquid conceptually answered the Wisp problem extremely well. They had high single target burst damage, and in this game, it's really not, it doesn't exist in the same way. I think it's going to be much harder for them to kill that one guy, to accomplish the concept that they did so well in game one. I think this time around is a lot harder with their heroes.
Is it also a different build for a carry IO? Do we see a different avenue get taken?
Usually Helm of the Dominator comes out before Aghanims, but typically it's just going to be Helm, Aghs, part, the things that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, my biggest worry for Yandex this game is this mid lane. Like, Slark literally cannot do one single point of damage to Wind Ranger. He's 600 units away. How can you hurt him? And I think this lane can potentially get very out of hand and put Nisha in a position to say, hey, I messed up last time with some Aegises. I'm going to prove you all wrong. I'm still the GOAT. All right, one-on-one, never lost, okay? He's in a position to say that.
Okay, what if it's no longer a one-on-one? What if all the supports from Yandex come mid?
Okay, then all bets are off.
All bets are off if those rotations happen, but Nisha wanting to prove himself here, and Yandex wanting to prove that their craft is superior. The only way they can do that is with some words for Tsunami.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am joined by Excel of Team Yandex. All right, give it to me real, Excel. Should you have won that game one? What was going on in your head during the last 5 minutes of that game?
I mean, it was a crazy game, and you don't judge winners, so you win, you win.
Okay, so then that's why you seemed confident still. You go for the IO, but you didn't go for it first pick. You waited, went bounty, they still didn't ban it, and then you were like, okay, now I'll pick IO. What was the reason?
There was just too many heroes we wanted, and we just decided what bounty is. It's just different, and you don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you about your entire TI experience. This is your very first TI, and I want to know what it's like getting into that booth, the door slides behind you, stressful games like this. What's the experience like for you?
I mean, it's a great experience, especially when you're winning, and I'm super happy we made it to playoffs. Even though like a lot of people like put us in a very high seat, like they rate us and they expect us to do very well. I don't have like any expectations, and I didn't have advance the game, so group stage wasn't like the easiest one, but that's fine. We make it through, and now we play here, super happy.
The happiness shows. Excel, congratulations on the game one. Looking forward to how game two goes as we send it to our casters.
Thank you very much there, Tsunami and Axel. It is time for game two, the game about to begin. Fold, we had quite the game one.
I mean, how do you beat that game one? How do you beat that game one?
We'll see, we'll see. Already with the draft, we're getting some fun stuff. So, you know, it's a good start already. We're getting this switch up right. We're seeing Liquid pick the Ember mid initially, maybe even not, allowing the Slark through. Something that a lot of these other Ember pickers are not doing, right? It's always banned.
Yes.
They leave it in, so of course, the mid slot, it comes out. Then Liquid say, well, you know what? We weren't going to put it mid. Well, anyway, we're ready to play it safe lane, get something else. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Safe lane.
It's not something that's I've done often. It's always about dodging. It can work. But it does have the darks here with the Ion Shell, right? You can see synergy with their draft, but it can be a risk.
But the lane, right?
Exactly.
It really can be a risk. Honestly, I feel like a lot for Liquid sort of was touched upon by the panel. You're looking at Nisha.
You're looking at 100%.
He's a Wind Ranger against a Slark. He's got a dumpster this lane.
100%. Because even that top lane, right?
Yeah.
Ace playing the Darkseer into the IO. It's not the easiest way to counter. IO's just gonna chill. You have sustain. You play from a distance unless you make some massive mistakes. You should be fine. And Ember, a hero that tends to be designed about having level advantage.
Getting that solo XP.
Getting like super fast max flame guard, especially currently at the moment. So not going to be the case, and he is playing versus a potential, I mean, not a hard lane, you could say, because it's a double melee, the Tide and the Bounty, but the Tide is going to get away with the free lane. He's going to be able to just chill down here for the most part, unless he makes some big mistakes. So let's see what Nisha can do.
I feel like, yes,
a lot of pressure.
So much is on Nisha.
But he's got a lot to prove after that last game.
Not the cleanest of games.
No.
But, you know, looking at the group stage performances, Liquid, it kind of happens to them. I think pretty much in all 3 of the series they won 2-1. They would always win. They would always lose the first game.
That is very true.
They always take time to adapt to their opponents. They've had that game 1, and my goodness, quite a lot of back and forth moments to adapt to them.
True.
See if they can turn things around here in this game too.
They adapted pretty well in that last game in terms of how they answered the IO Largo, but yeah, definitely not the case when they ended up losing the game. As he said, you don't judge the winners, and they were the winners on the side of Yandex this time around. So
great game from them, and just them having the sort of the foresight to be able to close it in the way that they did. They held nothing back when they had that opportunity to get that win, and it was a fantastic one.
So something I could like to see potentially from Tofu is just give the Ember the levels. Don't play next to him. Don't soak the experience, right? If you're going to play this Wyvern Ember lane, just make sure the Ember kind of plays that solo.
You do
type of
have
lane,
to.
Right?
You've got to find some sort of way indeed to ensure that you are giving that Ember the lion's share of the XP.
Exactly. So I'd like to see something like that from Tofu. Sure, he might have to soak a little bit here and there, but I want to see a majority going toward Mikke. So I've seen actually this IO and Slark thing together, Owen. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Boom Boys perhaps, or maybe it was Yandex. I'd have to look again. My bad. But I know somebody ran it earlier in this tournament. It gets pretty insane, the HP regen you start to build up.
I think it was
similar,
GPK play.
I think it was, right?
So I think it probably was.
In a similar vein, sure, not in the same concept last time where the IO Largo kind of thing comes in, but these two together, when Slark gets the Shard too, heroes kind of just become unkillable. So we'll have to see how Liquid ends up dealing with that, because this time around, like Insania was mentioning, Liquid's draft design is quite different than last time about we're going to just destroy one target, explode them. You can't even really do that versus the Slark, because he's going to get the Shard eventually. He's going to be able to get saved. So a bit of a different style that we have coming in from both sides, and we're going to see a pause coming in.
And I think that's the thing as well, going back to that game 1, you know, you talk about who was sort of the solid rock for Liquid. I feel like it was Mikke.
It was
quite
Mikke.
literally on the Tiny.
Literally.
He was doing some fantastic work. And obviously on this game, being put into a position which just, as we said, we've seen it before, this Ember safe lane, but it's definitely not one of those things that's like, oh my goodness, it's an Ember safe lane, everybody watch out. He's going to absolutely dumpster the game. It's a lot harder for Mikke to be that strong rock this time round.
It is, but the important thing is, though, the Ember's not shut down, right? Because otherwise you send the Ember to the Slark lane, and it's going to be an Ember who has a pretty awful
they have to make this
game.
So absolutely. They have to make this.
And I'm curious to does do it, but I don't know if he's guaranteed.
That's fair. And I'll tell you why it can work as well, because obviously you do have Nisha again on this hero in the mid. It's a Wind Ranger, quite like the Nature's Prophet.
He's the carry.
Build the right click, be the carry. So absolutely can work. It's just a question of whether you can get anywhere close to a similar sort of timings on that pickup and on the levels as you would if you were the Ember mid.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is going to go down. It sucks. So we're seeing 11 last hits on the Bounty. So he's gotten a lot of wards. I believe he killed some couriers as well too. So that's inflated for him at the moment. So as we see DM, a lane that he's put in a position to be able to farm in. Mikke is going to free farm, but same thing for DM in mid lane, the one that we have to look at, right? Because Nisha, it's just designed for him to just completely destroy the Slark.
He's doing well.
And so far, yeah, 16, 17, 7 to the 10 and 3, and Boxy now even making the move over to be even more annoying.
Yeah, they need this. Just do not let this Slark get away with any sort of start.
Just don't let him play. Yeah, they're going to have potentially, like I mean, honestly, he could become pretty dead weight pretty fast if he ends up getting pressured too hard in this game.
Because that's the thing, you know, would you rather be the team that's got a under-farmed Slark mid, or a team with an under-farmed Ember safe lane? I'd rather be the one with the Ember. You know what I mean? So if they can punish Chira, it doesn't matter what goes on in Mikke's game. And the thing is, obviously, at the moment, Mikke is having a great game. So it's not even a concern that he's not getting farm. He's top CS right now. Yeah. So this approach from Liquid, definitely looking to test Yandex's approach with this mid Slark. Liquid They've clearly come prepared with an answer.
And overall for the Ember game, if he does get the early Flame Guard max, looking at the magical damage of Yandex early, they could definitely have some difficulties breaking and burning that Flame Guard with him running them down.
They don't get through it quicker at all.
It's going to take time, right? The IO in particular is all that magic damage and the bushwhack that can come in, so see how that goes down. Watson, though, he also has free lane. We didn't talk too much about the IO, but the IO versus Darkseer, he's just going to free farm up there too, so the Dominator timing, it's going to be very fast. And let's see if this time also, where Yandex has the edge on the global, how much that's going to matter. Because last time Liquid, they could respond accordingly. Nature's Prophet Dawn, they can always respond to all these global moves. This time around, they don't have that luxury. They have the Ember to match the mobility, but that's about it. So Watson's relocates could be pretty devastating.
Bit of a slow-paced start in terms of kills. The mid lane, so we've got to keep our eyes on. Kira Jr. constantly being kept very, very low in this lane.
He's got the raindrop, so he's got ways to at least protect himself from some of these power shots, but Sox has got to come in at least to annoy Nisha a
He's doing it. I think that was what we've just had the stat up. I think that's the 5th courier in 5 minutes. So
it's pretty insane how many he's been able to find.
When Sax is on his bounty, you do not want to be a courier.
Well, yeah,
we'll find you.
Looking at the game state right now, right? You see it's 0-0, but the win range is completely free farming versus Slark, and it's actually Yandex with the gold lead because of those courier slings.
Yeah, he's keeping it even with these courier snipes.
And he's even getting the rune here now too, so gets the regen, will be able to prevent Nisha from just grabbing it. Sure, there's no bottle lane actually in this game, so this has been interesting. Usually don't see a team, both teams without a bottle hero. This is going to be one of those games with no bottle.
And talking about this bounty as well, I mean, honestly, talking about the 2 opening picks, right? We're seeing some teams, they love the bounty.
They do.
This is one of the teams that will do it. First pick material, I guess not a surprise because of the team. Overall, like, where do you place this hero right now? Is it as highly valued as some of these teams are valuing it in your eyes?
It seems very good versus certain teams, especially too, because the map is just so massive. It's giving so much information, and I feel like some teams aren't responding as accordingly as I would have expected.
First pick, why?
Like in the past, some teams, like, I mean, this isn't really the meta right now, but you could just go for these like pushing aggressive lineups, and Bounty does nothing into group up in most situations. So this game, he's into a Wyvern, and he's good versus the Wyvern. Mickey, here comes the reload.
And Watson bringing in the extra numbers to make sure they can try and punish Mickey before he hits the 6. Now get that first blood. Saxa been doing these little moves with the couriers, with the runes, now setting up for the first blood. This is why they do like to get this first pick for him. He comes quite nasty.
He's truly owning these first 7 minutes. An insane amount of D wards as well, as we're seeing on top of those courier snipes, and even finding that kill onto Mickey. Before he hits the 6, he was very close to having that finished up there. Still, the Slark case continues of the struggle.
Yeah. But this is if this game does sort of go down the way of, Mickey, despite having the good farm, he's got the gold, but just obviously will not have the chance for solo XP, the solo levels. And if Jira Jr. is able to have more impact with the lack of farm that he's had in this mid lane on the Slark, I think, we'll kind of maybe learn a lesson of maybe the Ember safe lane is just that hard to pull off, that it's just not a situation where you want to end yourself in with a draft. And one of the reasons why we have seen, I want to say, the majority of the times where Ember's been picked, Slark has always been banned.
It has been. Just having Ember side lane, it's just not the same. Sure, you can still get the farm, but it's about the pressure that you apply. Ember is a hero that just applies so much pressure, and if he is playing from that slide behind, it can be very different. So we shall see how Liquid play around.
It's going to be a test for Liquid.
Yeah, truly.
And already game 1 was quite a test, and a test that they failed in the end.
that is true. And yeah, Watson, let's see how the pace that he can farm, because we do have to talk about Watson too. Literally as clutch as you could possibly ask for in this last game, completely carrying the game. This time playing the IO, he's a good IO player. He's very comfortable with it, plays with the Dominator, and he's already set up for success here. Absolute free farm. He's playing into Darkseer too, who Darkseer versus IO, the wall does nothing. This is a pretty pathetic wall game when you look at it on paper. Usually Darkseer's pick because the wall can be pretty good. But
and a nice easy rotation over towards the stacks where they find Ace, and they're going to be able to finish off a few of these big creeps and ancients as well on top of that.
Hey, Sox's early game so far here, pretty pristine.
And Mickey with the build. Goes for the Urn, but it's going to be Urn Radiance. So he's dreaming big.
Dreaming big, and it's an item overall that not too many heroes actually purchase.
You're not picking a carry really in this meta outside of what may be a Spectre, even that we haven't seen that much. I think going to farm, that's true. I guess it is Lifesteal that's the only one that you're really picking in that safe lane to farm the Radiance. So
it takes a long time to get the Radiance at times, and like we're saying, and like we're indicating, Ember usually a hero that wants to dictate pace. So if you're playing that slow pace, we'll see whose design ends up feeling better and who actually comes away with at least this mid-game. Because you're going to just give Watson now, he's going to get a free Aghanim.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on him whatsoever.
Because Nisha, he's on the mid, he wants to farm. He's going this Maelstrom, obviously, on the Wind Ranger. So it's a fair bit of greed here from Liquid.
They could get punished for it. There's a lot of team fight. There's a lot of things that can come together very quickly from the side of Yandex. And DM, a hero that we don't see picked too often because it can just get punished in this current turret meta. He's gotten away with the lane completely.
Sax is nearly getting away with a courier snipe. In fact, he will. Surely, are they going to be able to kill him for this? He's going to have the Shadow Walk back up.
Their catch is really not the best until they have the hook shot.
He really is doing so much.
Oh, he is so annoying.
His first 10 minutes, Sax are the MVP by far.
Oh, yeah.
For what's been going on across the map in favor of Yandex.
That's dangerous, too. As a first pick, being able to have this type of effect in the 10 minutes is pretty crazy. Top also now, Ace. Can he speed himself away? Still has the surge active, should be able to.
Up for chase, yeah. A little bit too far for Saxa to try and set up to buy time for Malady and Watson to get in.
He'll get the Dom creep, though. And in the meantime, too, Saxa did block the Ancients while he was in that vicinity, too. So no extra farm for the Darkseer. 2K lead from the side of Yandex, just playing that economy game. And the Slark, he's only 700 behind the Wind Ranger, Owen.
He has absolutely gone through this lane good enough.
Good enough, indeed.
And Nisha, we saw him try. He was putting the pressure on. Honestly, this was just very good safe plays from Cheerio, making sure he never fed in the matchup. And he didn't try and overstay his welcome, didn't push for CS that he wasn't going to be able to get.
And the bonus,
he's played it very carefully.
All this bonus gold from the bounty, too, absolutely adds up, right? As you said, I think, what, was it 6 or was it 7 courier kills? I can't remember said that. I hate myself for it, but it was something around that. So, yeah, he's been giving so much extra gold, so much extra information.
They just need time. I'm looking at Liquid. They got an Ember trying to farm a Radiance.
They're going to farm.
Mid-Wind Ranger obviously wants his Maelstrom. I feel like they're hoping that Yandex isn't going to do something that Yandex is almost certainly going to do, that Yandex is going to come running at them. The Diffusal Blade, if Chiro Jr. gets a good timing on this Diffusal Blade,
it's a great game
The setup they have between any of them, right? If Slark, Bounty, Tide, Hoodwink go in, Watson's going to be relocating on top of him. They're going to feel a lot of early pressure, Liquid.
Tofu is going to have to be in pretty prime position, it feels like, in that mid-game with no curse to kind of turn these aggressive moves that can come in, because the team fight, it's very strong from Yandex when it comes together with the IO in particular. Sure, Liquid has responses of team fights, it's just, we'll see what Mika can do until he gets Radiance, because before Radiance, he's going to be a bit underwhelming.
I don't think
die in 1 pound.
I mean, I don't think he's going to want to turn up at all.
And that, I mean, that could be dangerous, right? If he doesn't show up to some of these early fights versus the IO could take over. So,
and even when you have the Radiance on the Ember, it's not like, whoa!
No.
It will eventually feel good, but
you'll farm fast.
The Radiance alone, you're still going to die.
You're very vulnerable.
But you need time.
They'll be able to burn heroes quick, though. Ion Shell, Radiance, Flame Guard, so you can see what they want to do here, so we'll see if that ends up working for them, though. But yeah, Yandex, I feel like they're cruising right now, especially Watson. The timing's going to come pretty soon here.
Diffusal Blade is only about 700 gold away. Really did get through the lane nicely, Chiro Jr.
And good versus pretty much everybody. Good versus everybody that the Liquid has. This time, Saxa
to try for a deny. Won't get it. Nisha gets the kill.
3 heroes, 2 cores to rotate to deal with Saxa's obnoxious pressure that he's doing. And Wall was used just to push him away here. I mean, Saxa just giving info. The base court that he placed earlier, scouting things out, sniping these couriers. I think Yandex just is, they have literally map hack essentially at the moment right now. They know everything that Liquid's doing because of the way he's playing.
I'll tell you what, in terms of control, they've got some quite annoying options, right, Yandex. They have the Pounce, and then also the Anchor from the Tide this game.
The Anchor's gonna
it
be
kind
very
of
strong.
ruins all 3 of their cores, right?
I think he should really, I think maybe as a first item. I was considering
that good
this game on the Tide. After having this Fraps, essentially, could just go for it.
I think DM might think about that, yeah. It's going to be very effective against Liquid's cores.
Liquid's overall just don't have the easiest ways to game, right? This is just going to be a lot of farming. So we'll have to see if their plan ends up working in this. That Slark, he is caught up completely with the Wind Ranger. Literally same goal.
Yeah. Actually able to get involved in some more action there, top against Poxy.
It's gonna accelerate fast, it feels like.
It really
don't know how
is.
Liquid's gonna deal with this Aghanim now.
I think that really is the question. There's no way they forgot about the Slark being able to be picked against the Ember. This has to have been the plan from Liquid, right? That they were like, haha, we're going to do the Ember safe lane and going to beat you. You think it might have been a slip-up?
Yeah, they did a last-minute pivot because the way that they dropped. Oh, Curse will connect, will get Saxa brought down, but they'll lose their Shrine. Watson He'll be fine to get out as well, too, with the re-relocate. Boxy is looking for him potentially on the re-relocate, but not something you can go for here without the Wind Ranger.
Not an easy kill. They need that extra damage.
Quiet game from Nisha, who said just farming, going for Maelstrom.
Relic's done. So McKay crossing that first hurdle, but Jira Jr. with the defusal, he's going to be quite annoying. He's going to be all over the map, getting these pickoffs.
Him and the bounty can really try just...
and they're going to get...
They can ruin the supports pretty hard.
And they're going to get the money.
They are.
With sort of the track potential from the bounty, it's tough times here for Liquid.
It's going to be a dangerous couple moments here until they do have the Radiance on the Ember to see what they can actually do to deal with this pressure from Yandex. I think Yandex, they got everything they wanted and more in this lane.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of how this Slark is done.
This first 15 minutes, Yandex, they're feeling like this one is very much in the direction of being in the bag.
3K lead at the moment here. DM, as we see, he's still queuing up the blink first, so might just want that to be able to jump the back lines, but already making an aggressive move bottom. Pounce!
With the Ravage into the Madison, and the sharp shot, it is easily enough.
I think he actually ended up missing the pounce there, but ended up not mattering.
He did miss the pounce. He did miss the pounce, just sort of the mana burn with the right clicks.
Hey, Boxy, can he get a connection here onto Chira? He's got
Shadow Dance. He is out of this. I don't think they've got any way to chase him afterwards, and if anything, Liquid's got to be careful. You don't want to be running into this. This Slark's scary.
And this IO can come in at any moment.
Oh yeah, Watson's at the ready if the call's sort of made.
I mean, Watson's getting too much freedom, Owen. He's going to be level 15 very soon. I mentioned it the last game, how strong the 15...
Where does the pressure from Liquid come from? Nisha's not going to be putting pressure on.
That's why I thought
this Ember's not going to be putting pressure on.
That's why I thought he might do the... Even though it sounds super weird, just doing the Vessel from the safe lane from the Ember, because I thought he was going to play faster, but not the case right now.
Yeah.
This is tough to see these next moments for Liquid, how they're going to be able to deal with the pressure that comes in. Watson, 15's about to hit, and the damage is insane when you do have this talent this early, and he's got the save. I do want to see Chira even potentially getting the shard a little early on the Slark too, since the IO is going to be so massive. All you have to do is just protect him.
Yeah, I mean, that would completely ruin any opportunity.
Ooh, mid!
To get kills if it goes for it.
Off the mark with the bushwhack, might actually save Nisha's life.
He's going to throw a blood grenade out at the side. Chira Jr. said the corner brace will come into play. The Shuriken bounce. The curse has to be used to hold Chira Jr. back. It will allow them to turn towards him. Chira Jr. does get taken out. Watson's going to turn up to the fight. They're able to take out both Boxy and Nisha here with Watson's presence.
A lot of damage from Watson.
They do not have the damage to bring Watson down. A remnant over from Mickey, but Watson's already out. And Mickey, he gets finished off by Malady.
Oh my goodness.
3 dead on Liquid, maybe even 4 Tofu. Will be able to get the corner brace off underneath the tier 2 tower.
Oh, and this is insane. It's 8K lead. Watson comes in, cleans up, gets out. Chira gives his life, but he's like, I don't care. I set up for the dream for us. Track kills aplenty.
And Sax, he treats himself to a 17-minute blink dagger on the bouncy.
My goodness.
They're having a lot of fun this game, Yandex. I reckon this one must feel fantastic to play right now in the booth here on the main stage.
They don't even have the Radiance yet for the Ember. Mickey now 0-3. Even though they moved him out of the mid lane, he's suffering just as much as if maybe as if he would have been there.
Yeah, game 1 was quite the back and forth spectacle. This one's
looking could be decided pretty quick with the way, because IO, when you do get ahead like this, it's very hard to play versus it because of how much they can pressure the map. Chira,
he's fine. He's got a pounce.
Onto the cog.
He's got a shadow dance. They need to kill him though. Let's have a look.
Chira,
they might get him. They need to get him. They will get Malady.
They should have Chira.
Sure, he's gonna have a pounce in a second.
Surely they finish him here.
There's no way he gets out. They get him. All right, they needed that Liquid.
They did.
They needed that big time.
Mickey did not get the last hits though, so does not have the Radiance yet, but will have it finished up soon, but a pretty slow one that's coming out here for him.
Dire's middle tower.
Saxa getting into very sneaky territories, by the way. Another base ward that he's placing, so more couriers.
This is one of the things you can do when you get the blink early on these sort of heroes.
You not only are able to know like where you can snipe these couriers, but you know where Liquid's going to want to play, because you'll see where the couriers are going, so you get full information. You're going to get so much out of this.
And do you ever expect that ward, or it's one of those things that maybe you see in the replay and the next game, if he does it, you're checking it out. But this game is going to live the whole
It'll live the whole duration, unless they buy a gem, which maybe they will do if they do feel that pressure from the bounty so much.
All right, there we go. So Radiant's done. It's done here for Mickey on the safe lane Ember.
But Watson, level 16, and he's got a BKB on top of the Aghanim. So a clear separation of almost 2 items. Ace
trying to surge away, but the bushwhack comes in beautifully from Malady.
The damage from these spirits with the 15 talent is insane at this point when it's this early.
Chira Jr. gets the pounce into the Ravage from DM. They're locking Mickey down. Not one charges.
He's healing.
He's not going to be able to get away though. He came up with the side. I don't think he had any more remnants out to jump to. So he's gone. They lose 3 heroes again on Liquid. And they just cannot fight Yandex right now. Yandex are far too strong.
Nisha can't get into these fights either. He is having an incredibly quiet game.
Very quiet game.
For being that mid-win ranger versus the Slark, he's not finding much of anything.
They needed so much more from him this game, and it's not happened so far.
It's a 12K lead at 19 minutes with an IO lineup. And look at his net worth. It is insane how much he's getting out of the map here. And it's not just him, too. It's not just the cores. These supports, because they're getting all these kills, too. They're very rich. Malady's got a vessel. He's got the Distiller. He's got the Crest. Pretty crazy how much farm they're able to find here. And you can see that Liquid, they're having to just use, like, Winter's Curse to just hold the Slark back. Sure, they got the kill on him before because they did hold him back long enough, but how are they going to deal with Watson? He's going right-click now. So this is the build we've seen from Watson, also from SafeLane, too. He's actually even done the Maelstrom before the Aghanims a couple games. He's going to have it done, too. So the farm is going to continue to accelerate. And to point out, too, is this is an amazing Mjolnir game. You're playing versus Flame Guard, Ion Shell, Raid. The Mjolnir is going to go crazy in the fights.
And they get Chirrut. One of the cogs.
He's got back up.
He's going to come in and try and help out. Chirrut is surviving.
The heal.
He's living proud. You know he's going to be able to turn over on Mickey. Mickey's out of money.
Too much.
Then he gets the double kill. Watson keeps him alive. It might be early days, Fog, but this has got to be painful for Liquid to play. They are getting completely destroyed. And this is looking like one of those ideas that you kind of have in a pub game. You're like, it's all right, boys. I'm going to take Ember SafeLane, Farmer Radiance, and then you're like, wait, what?
It's looking like you just gotta, I mean, you gotta go for like the high ground base kind of, but your map is just completely desolated. Yandex, they're playing this to utmost perfection. This is gonna be one of the most farms IOs I think I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
16K net worth.
21 minutes in.
He's not only getting enabled from kills, he's getting the tracks.
They get Saxa.
We'll find
They
one.
drop a wall down, they're able to finish him off. Every now and then, they get a little something, but they need so many things. They're down 17K at 21 minutes.
And this is even before Cheer Jr. has the shard, too. He was able to survive during the majority of that. He doesn't even have the Depth Shroud yet to protect. So on top of, if he does want to go for that, then he probably will just never die again, if he does have the IO near him. So for Liquid, you gotta just play for mass team fight, get the BKB online, at least for Nisha, and hope that they can overcommit onto you. But it is such a deficit.
We go. This is, it's a desperate move, but they've got to make these desperate plays in this position. The smoke comes out, this goes wrong. This game looks irrecoverable.
I mean, Chira just scouts it immediately. Got the ulti. Looking to reset.
But the Ravage is there. DME just comes in and gets the 4-man Ravage. Watson ready to come across. He's ready to fight with the BKB. He's just trying to go for the focus fire to Watson, but Watson is so tanky. They just do not have the damage to touch Yandex. Boxy's dead. Nisha chased down by DM. He's going to get the win run off turn with the shackle, but the final right clicks at the time. Kill him off. Ace trying to get Malady. Won't even get him. Watson's in with the tether to heal Malady up. 4 dead on Liquid. Nobody dead on Yandex. Mickey, he's also going to get caught bottom. They're going to get the team wipe.
Another kill for DM. I mean, 5 track kills.
When you see, you know, the Tide just finishing off your mid-win Ranger with a right click, the carry Ember Spirit with a right click, I think you know it's over.
Yeah, it's looking pretty over. 20 minutes, 22 minutes, 21,000 lead. They're pretty
This is actually, is this the biggest stomp we've had in terms of kind of gold lead per minute?
It's looking,
22, 1,000 gold a lead coming up. 1,000 gold a minute lead, just coming up to 23 minutes.
Someone stop them
This is just an approach to the game gone horribly wrong for Liquid, and really just sort of begs the question if this was the plan. Did they think that they didn't need to ban the Slark because they had this alternate switch around strategy? Did they think this would be you've only got to imagine that they did think so, but it has not been the case. It's just getting completely walked over by Yandex.
The pivot that you did in this game is 0 and 6. Right? The Ember Spirit that got moved out of that matchup is actually having the worst game out of all the cores. They are just completely shutting him down. Yeah. It's a beautiful approach from Yandex, and a lot of credit has to be given to Saxa. This early game, this first 10 minutes, he devastated the game plan from Liquid.
Couriers dying everywhere, information being given all around, and just information right to ensure that Chirrut Jr. didn't die during the laning stage.
Exactly.
He knew when he could kind of approach the lane in the mid, get what he could, when to back away, and get through this laning stage without dying at all in that matchup against Nisha's win range.
And it truly is just looking so difficult to see how they can bring down the IO. As you saw there, Nisha focus fired, and he literally just ran right.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
No, and this is pre having those actual like big healing items, the heart or the satanic. He's got all the damage. Essence strings, of course, we did see save them back to back. That's indicative of how good a Tidehunter game it truly is in this one. About to have, I mean, getting closer and closer to the Ags finished up. They're really just getting everything on the map here. Ags finished up for the Slark. Even more control now for the quote-unquote elusive heroes on Liquid.
Saxo ready with the setup.
BKB's there for Nisha.
A little deep. Box is going to be in the backup, and they won't push it too far. Yandex, they'll respect the reaction.
Nice vacuum.
Vacuum.
Is there damage?
There should be at least to kill Malady right there. They can kill the hook with.
Shackle and Watson.
And they get the Io. There's a lot of damage. Some of the folks find the BKB's out.
They'll get it.
They get it.
Wow. That was insane.
Huge kill here for Liquid to take down, finally take down the Watson. Money going the way of Ace. He gets a lot of money for that one.
A Boxy coming in very clutch.
Right.
Those cogs back to back to back hitting him, preventing from the BKB to get used at first. Wow, biggest kill they've been able to find in this game. I'm impressed they were able to even do it at this point.
Yeah, I think, you know, Yandex going to be surprised themselves that they could lose Watson in that situation. That he just got from ending that streak of Watson.
Very nice shackle, as we did see from Nisha there too, being the answer there for the IO for a moment. Punchback, it doesn't change too much, of course, of the game state. It still is one of the most substantial leads as we've seen in this early game.
Yeah. I mean, but
the punchback.
In our last game, we saw Yandex win the game against Mega.
And Liquid turned this into more kills rallied around Ace, because Ace, he's being the rock for the team a bit here, right? He's got the Shivas, he's got the pipe, he's got some of the answers here, at least versus all this magical. They got to play around those vacuum combos, see if they can get the coordination to try to bring down some of these targets. Yandex, they can back up. They don't really have to force things, to be fair.
No,
they can get the Satanic for Watson. They were just trying to apply as much pressure as possible and got punished for it. They still have the availability to go for Tormentor. They can set up for these Roshans, and I think that'll be the case for Yandex. Liquid, a lot harder for them to fight around those terms of Yandex. If Yandex is going in with 2 heroes versus 5, then Liquid can perhaps respond.
Yandex ready to bring the action to them with the Blink Ravage ready again here for DM.
Chira on the hunt here. I'm shocked he hasn't bought the shard, actually. Maybe he is just waiting to see if he does get some luck, though. Okay. He gets caught in the pounce.
Got a Ravage setting things up. Into the pounce and the bushwhack. Not a chance.
I just don't know how Mika ever comes back in this game, Owen. 0-7, and it's just a game where Ember feels hard countered. Perhaps it's going to be all on Nisha and Ace, but you need this Ember to do something, it feels like. I don't know if the Wind Ranger and the Darks, you can do it enough.
DM afraid of nothing.
Truly not. Gets the Yules off as the Surge goes off, so Ace in trouble.
And with the pounce onto Ace, Watson's relocated over as well. He's able to take out Toph at the back of the fight. Ace going to try and run away, but he's caught by the leash.
Anywhere.
Will be the 3 of them dead. Back to getting the gold lead growing on track here for Yandex.
Track money. Well, 2 track also starting to build up there. He has the shard on the bounty hunter too, so even more pressure on the map. On top of what Sox has already been able to apply this game. Now he can invis his buddies, go for even more dive plays. Nisha
is giving it.
Have to be so careful here.
Got eyes on him. Oh, Boxy.
Hello?
He was afraid that Saxa would get some sort of setup onto him. Tried to hook shot over in case he needed to be there by his side.
Can't someone stop
These supports are very likely to overtake.
I mean, they're massive.
Honest,
Both of them.
This could be a game where they have like five heroes in the top 7, right? It could just be the Ember and the Wind Ranger getting surpassed, and it's just the Darks here up there if they don't get something rolling together. And Yandex, it is going to be that Roche call next. They're going to play it a little safe. Full Satanic for Watson. You have to have like a 5v1 to bring down this IO, it feels like now at this point. They did do it before, but that's kind of what it was, right? They did have the 5 on top of him.
How quickly he farms, not just only gold, but XP as well.
Oh, and now he also
23.
He also now has the 15 talent from the bounty that could potentially be thrown on him. You get the damage reduction, the 30% damage reduction.
Yeah, you're not killing this IO, unless he's left completely on his own. We just had that situation earlier when he was in the triangle. They weren't really set up around him. They could kill him then. Okay. Killing him in a team fight. Looks to be impossible for Liquid, but Liquid, they're ready to try the impossible.
It's double BKB timings. They're going to try. At this deficit, let's see what they can connect with.
See Saxa.
DM's in.
Saxa's got the use to protect himself. Mickey's going to commit here with the BKBs. Look to try and finish off at least the bouncy. Look at the vacuum wall down. Watson being brought down to half HP as needs to commit with the focus fire. The curse as well will lock down the two of them. And they've lost Tofu.
That's the BKB.
He's about to come to an end. And DM here waiting for him perfectly. Comes in with the Ravage to slam down yet another team fight in Yandex's favor. Ace.
That was the BKB fight for Liquid, and they only find the supports.
And they might just get Ace as well. He's caught Alf to the side. Another kill for Watson. Another team fight in the bag for Yandex as they continue to very much enjoy this game too.
And Chira probably enjoying things too. He's like, guys, I got the pick Slark. They moved the Ember, and I'm still owning. 6-2-11. Has the Mage Slayer, has Axe, has all the timings. Is completely reducing anything Liquid wants to do in this.
I mean, and this is huge, right, going forward in the competition. It very much sends a message of, if you pick Ember,
you better ban the Slark.
You have to ban the Slark.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to be able to lane the Ember against it, and by the looks of it, you're certainly not going to be able to make a lane switch up and try and run the Ember safely.
Okay. Might get caught here. Shadow Walk stun.
Yules. Catch him on the way down, they don't.
Still has the Remnant down.
Watson.
There, Watson now.
Looking for on his own. He has got BKB and Satanic ready to press. BKB and a tether alone is enough. He zooms away.
So far. Chira in position to protect him. Chira by shard yet? Okay, I guess he's not going to do it. I thought he was going to get it, but he feels like he doesn't need it. He just wants to go for his own items this game. Feels like Watson doesn't need that protection. It's crazy net worth on this IO. We knew how insane this hero was going to be coming into this tournament. Some of these players are truly showing how strong it is.
Yeah, getting to pick it up as their second pick as well after the bouncy this draft.
I didn't think that they were going to get it again.
Especially because they have this flexibility. We saw game one from Chira, and then game two on Watson.
And Watson about to hit 25. He can go for the attack tethered target this game since he's got the Slark. And with this build, yeah, absolutely. Here we go. This damage is going to be absolutely ridiculous with him and Chira hitting targets. And for Liquid, I mean, it's got to be some type of like 5-man curse.
What is the comeback situation?
They don't really have physical damage is the issue. Their damage comes quite slowly versus this IO at this point with how far behind they truly are. They need to just somehow miraculously win a team fight to get some type of holdback coming their way. But it would be pretty miraculous if they could. Got him, the catch again.
Very dead.
Doesn't even bother popping the BKB there.
Try and stop things on the Saxa.
The DM you can't touch.
He's got Ravage as well ready when it's necessary. Saxa will get taken out as DM has to wait out the BKB from Mickey. Don't want to commit anything too heavily.
Get the Yules. We'll be able to find Boxy here on the way down. The DM just walks through them. The cores really do feel unkillable on the side of Yandex at this point. Sure, you can get down these supports at some times, but he got a bounce. I think he got a track off too, so it did get that extra gold for the team. Roche. He looked to back up for that one soon. Regen also for DM. It's just not. I'm like trying to think of it's just not really. There's no timings. All the timings for Liquid are just shot. There's not any big gains that they have in these next few moments. They got a Kaya on the Ember Spirit. That's not going to change much of anything. The Wind Ranger too. I mean, the Daedalish. Maybe if they weren't so far behind, could have a bit of more of a difference maker. But there's just so much that Yandex has at this point to deal with it. Could look to close it out now in these next few moments with this Aegis. Full MKB for Watson.
Next. They're looking ready to put an end to this series. Yeah. Smoke up here around the Aegis, ready to run straight at Liquid.
No BKB still for Mickey, 2 for 20 seconds, so a free catch if they do see him. Doxa.
So we'll spot him out.
He's tanky.
He's going to be here to help out. They're going to hook shot over Ward Sax.
Backline.
Make the jump over Mickey. Mickey's just dead at the beginning of the fight.
No BKB for him.
He's gone. Indeed, the BKB was still on cooldown for about 10 seconds. They do get Sax in return, but the Ravage from DM comes out, puts a stop to Nisha's attempted TP out. Malady with a follow-up bushwhack. Nisha's gone, the mid and the carry dead, and more. Tofu picked off up on the high ground.
I don't know how much more of this they want to take on Liquid.
This has got to hurt big time.
What an approach from Yandex. Coming off of that last game with the momentum into this one. Saksa leading the charge in the first 10 minutes, but the rest of the team leading it afterwards. Sheeran Watson having a beautiful game this time. All three cores having pretty flawless performance this time around for Yandex. Time to close it out.
Sorry, it's Yandex. They're not going anywhere now. They're inside the base. A very hard-fought game one that's simply rewarded them with quite a smooth victory it looks to be here in game 2. 35k ahead, 35 minutes in. Yandex looking very, very cool in this game 2.
They had the clutch factor in game 1. This game, they don't need the clutch factor as much. They're just running through it. 2 racks is claimed.
Middle barracks have fallen.
Liquid will still hang on, but as we said, it's truly just hanging on by a thread at this point. Nearly 900 GPM for the IO. They're gonna smoke out, look for a last hurrah. There is no Ravage available. They've got their BKB, so they're gonna try something, but
all right,
let's see if they can kill a core, Owen.
So if they turn this, it will be even more impressive than the Mega Creep comeback we saw in game 1 from Yandex.
Yeah,
this
actually would be.
It would be. I mean, let's see what they can do. Liquid, smoking up. Ready to give it their potentially final shot here in game 2.
I mean, this would be the biggest comeback of all time, to be honest with you. 36k, 35 minutes with this type of draft, with this type of things. Yeah, it's tough to see how they can kill a core even at this point. Yandex.
Boom, there it goes.
Ready to close it up. Boxy stepping outside for some vision.
And they're in. He's got a chance to jump Boxy. Sharpshooter coming in. It will dodge it with a hook shot over towards Nisha.
They're all getting tracked up. Saksa did find a place to put a sneaky ward in the base again, Owen, so they have full information of Liquid as well.
Top tower could literally
sneaky ward, and yeah, I mean, it's to be expected to see that win probability in this game.
Having to put the BKB there just to get out. And it was only the Slark alone that was threatening him. So yeah, very much feeling that 100-0.
It might even be higher than 100.
If it could be, it would.
Middle tower may be gone, but
Just clean execution, truly. Overwhelming blink. DM treating himself to a luxury item as well. Making Liquid suffer a little bit more in this game, it feels like. 25s.
We can go for here. 1 minute left on the Aegis.
The insane thing, too, is that Watson still has quite a bit to grow. He's level 26. He can still eat the Aghanims, get the Daedalus, replace the Dom. Still has ways that he can just continue to get even bigger versus this, as he's doubling the net worth of the cores on the side of Liquid. Truly super impressive here. And yeah, just showing this Ember side lane ain't gonna work versus us.
It certainly isn't.
Jump forward.
Ravage. The base. Ravage is there. They get the jump straight away on a walked over an Ace. Ace will fall. Boxy taking apart a few right clicks from Chira Jr. The 3 of them dead. On Liquid and outside of the base, Saksa is caught a 4th. Nisha's going to go for the BKB TP out. He'll make it back to the fountain.
Just barely. Time to see how fast these buildings drop with the IO tether.
He's going to TP out to try and cut some of the creeps, but still he has the remnant back.
Here we go. Watch the push. Look at that IO.
DM's already in with a jump right up towards the fountain again, ready to stop. Release both Mickey and Nisha back.
He's invulnerable at this point.
Come on the bite.
Maybe the fountain can kill him.
Push him back with the cogs.
Let's see if the fountain can.
He's still kind of tanky, DM. He's walking this one off.
Nope, he's fine.
Doesn't get lower than half HP there, DM. He's fine. Boxy. Catch on Saksa, can they at least get a bounty up to kill? Yours comes out, Saksa bites down, puts out Judy, jumps over Ortiz, the corner press comes out, won't save him.
They can't get support.
Dead for 70 seconds. DM continues to hold them just stuck inside the fountain. They'll finally tap out, they've had enough. GG's called. Yandex stomping this game 2, and with that taking the series 2-0, knocking Liquid down to the lower bracket.
An absolute stomp, truly, in this one.
The biggest one I think we've seen throughout the group stage into this main event. This was
not even close.
I mean, just completely outdrafted and completely outplayed on both fronts here, folks.
100% outclassed, outplayed in every possible way. As we said, it was up to Nisha in this game to shut down the Slark, kind of make the space happen first. It didn't happen at all. The Slark came out of the lane. Sure, he was behind, but very quickly caught up. Saksa finding all these couriers, setting up for all this information. It was a dream for Yandex this game, truly. They got to play versus a side lane Ember here on the main stage.